It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh, God? How about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death?
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
They're coming all over the place.
You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been seriously sauce. Serious sauce. A lot of serious sauce. A lot of serious sauce. Seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce. A lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa, not like, whoa, whoa, not like, whoa. It's not like, whoa.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Get your words straight, Jack. 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 Get your words straight, Jack.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
I eat
extra sharp.
Hello, users, and welcome to another program. I would like to immediately apologize for my demeanor potentially being slow today. I did not sleep well last night, so please bear with me. I look like shit. Look at me. I'm losing it. Got a shirt on. It's backwards. Huh? Is this, huh? Look at me. I see. That's why I do. No, there's no reason. But I got a show today. I was planning on doing a program. So hello, users. Welcome to the show. So I recommend watch later 2X. Oh no! Is that a hood? Yeah, I'm wearing it backwards. Do Americans really need someone to show them how to make a salad? On a serious note, 95% I don't know what to tell you. It's a goddamn study. Some motherfuckers studied that shit, and they were like, 95% of these motherfuckers dumb as hell. How come I slept bad? I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it, but I did not sleep too well. Yesterday, if you did not see it, then first of all, you're a dumbass, and you should consider punishing yourself. But yesterday I uploaded Cooking with the Bitch, folks. Season 2 is here. That's right. So y'all thought on last Friday, I did an announcement, right? On April Fool's Day, no less, I did an announcement. Y'all thought this goddamn bitch. This fucking stupid motherfucking fuck. That's what y'all were thinking. That's what I was thinking too, to be honest. I was thinking, there is no way I'm going to be able to do this. Look, there's Max the dog. There's no way it's going to happen. But then it happened. In fact, it's such a good ep, I'm going to like it myself. There you go. But anyway, so Cooking with the Bitch here. Planning on doing every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we'll be cooking with the bitch. And so, you know, there's that. That's my goal. Indefinitely. You know, we'll see if I get 30 of these videos done and I might run out of ideas and take a break. But there you go. So go watch it if you didn't. It's 20 minutes. And next week is going to be good. So, because now again, the key thing here is note, right? This is basically part 2. This is episode 2. You got a teaser trailer for episode 2. Because next week, I'm going to be making this goddamn tofu. In fact, I think I might make it this weekend. And then edit it over the course of the coming days. But again, once again, I'm a genius of our time. Smia says, it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. 100 emoji with 2 underlines. Found some super firm tofu at the store this morning. Many people are saying that's going right on the book jacket. There you go. Courtney says, Smia, you too? Anyway, marinate that shit and then we'll tune in next Wednesday. There you go. So there you go. Cooking with the Bitch. Share it. Share that fucking shit. Maybe I should try to go on a podcast tour. Do a media tour. Yeah, above it all, it's a decent show. But have you seen Cooking with the Bitch? Huh? I've never ate tofu. Well, Bilb, if you follow my easy steps, you will change your life. To me, food is a very sacred experience. I like to eat food. I like to make food. I like to look at food. Food is just interesting. So, sharing that with the world. I'm trying to get my coffee in me. So, you only got like 2 hours of sleep. I went to sleep at like probably like 2, maybe 2:30. And I woke up like 15 trillion times. Where did I get the tofu at? Actually, I got it in a leftover from a drug deal. No, I'm just kidding. I bought it from the fucking store. Where do you think I got it? I don't know. From the supermarket. I was selling drugs in exchange for tofu. That's how I operate. But anyway, so that's the show. That's Cooking with the Bitch. Go watch that. I'm going to link that. So go ahead and watch this video. When this stream is over, you're going to want to watch this. I want you to share it. If you have friends, if you have family, if you think that this would be a fun experience for other people in your life, I would love for you to share it. I really want to put some effort into this because I've got a good thing going. I've got a bunch of good ideas. I got at least like 20 videos worth of ideas in my brain. So it'll last for, at least 20 weeks, if that's the case. But I would really appreciate it if y'all could share it, get some more words out there. And there you go. Serene Podcast Voice. We're joined now by Andrea from Cooking with the Haha. We don't usually say words like this on the podcast. Would you go ahead and tell us what that's called, Andrea? Cooking with the goddamn. Tofu needs to be prepared well. Personally, I disagree. I eat raw tofu just right out of the package sometimes. My diet is about 60% sugar and cake. And the rest is good food, like peanut butter, vegetables. Excuse me? Let me read that again, because I must have made a mistake. My dyslexia must be acting up. Okay. So Bilb says, my diet is about 60% sugar and cake. The sugar, that's a whole separate category from the cake. It's not like cake is mostly sugar. No. It's sugar and cake. So it's like 20, 30% you're just eating spoonfuls of sugar. And then the other 20 to 30% is you're eating the spoonfuls of sugar in the form of a cake. And the rest is good food. Oh, good food. I love good food. I wonder what this list is going to have on it. Because I love good food. I love to promote. Okay, so good food. Like peanut butter, not bad. Vegetables, pretty good. And then we get the M word. That's crazy. That's crazy. Andrew Kohler, the fact that we live in a society in which grown adults use the first letter plus word. Well, I'm starting to endorse that strategy with this M word that Bilb is posting in the chat. Goddamn M word. But yes, grown adults will say F word. That's crazy. Bodan, have you seen Cooking with the Goddamn? In fact, I'm gonna put it back open. I know. I'm doing this a lot, but I'm drinking my coffee. I'm trying to fucking, live my life. If you haven't seen it yet, gotta go watch it. You gotta watch it. It's great. I'm gonna unmute it for 5 seconds.
Wow. All right. So now, again, this has been soaking the whole time. That's crazy. So
all right. So that's pretty crazy. Check that out. But anyway, Cooking with the Goddamn. Tomorrow, to my understanding, will be Friday. So tomorrow will be the Doom stream that will return. I've got an internal WOD list. That's right. That I will be going through. I might share it, or I might keep which ones I'm playing a surprise until I go. But tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. I will be streaming some Doom, so feel free to come in and hang out. So, but yes. So anyway, I'm trying to branch out. I have I would also like to announce that the Lucid Dream Show, I've begun the pre-production. That's right, this whole episode so far is talking about me. That's great. This is like the ideal episode for me. The Lucid Dream program has entered pre-production. So what that means is I've got a rough outline. So I want to share this idea with the chat. In fact, I'm going to make a poll. All right, so do not vote in the poll until I'm done explaining the idea. So for my idea, what I want to do is I'm thinking about hopefully having this all lined out by the end of the month. But I want to do one video. The first video will be kind of like a prep guide. Because in my opinion, I think it's easier to learn how to do lucid dreaming if you use certain herbs and supplements. So the first episode will be probably at the end of the month. And then I want to wait 7 days for people to have an opportunity to, purchase things. It shouldn't be that expensive. I'd say maybe $20-$30 if you want to go in on it. Maybe $50 if you really want to get like high quantities. But $20 and you'll be covered. And so 7 days after the first episode, what I want to do is I want to release daily increments before bedtime. This is going to be my strategy. So I want it to be like a course of some kind. I want people to watch the program every day before bed. And, I want it maybe like 10-15 minutes. I'm not sure on the length. But I want it to be like every day for maybe 2 weeks. So that's like 14 installations. And that way, the reason why I want that to be the case is I want it to be a habit building. Every single thing, again, we can talk about certain things and add more info. Do a supplement routine, that kind of stuff. And so that's my idea. So I could do 2 weeks, maybe depending on, how it goes. I could maybe add a third week. But again, in my opinion, if you just took like 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, you'll have a skill build up for the rest of your life. For me, during 2020, I spent 3 months of my life practicing this stuff, and I have vivid, extremely detailed lucid dreams almost every day. And I don't do any of the supplements. I don't even have a dream journal at this moment. So, for me, did the poll get fucked up? No, it's just 100% results. Okay. So that's my idea. I would do like a daily course. And I would air it like maybe 10 p.m. Eastern or something. Like, that's when I go to bed. So that's my idea. Because I think the best way to do it would be to take it in a course-style fashion. Because that will yield the best results. So that's going to be my strategy. Are the supplements legal things? Yes, you can buy them all online, and I will provide links. I mean, I personally, I'm down to maybe do like a bonus episode or so on this. I have been experimenting every now and then with using psychedelic drugs for the lucid experience. But obviously those are illegal, so I cannot recommend them. But other herbs are all completely legal. You can buy them online. Unless you live in Russia. If you live in Russia, well, I mean, I don't even know if you're able to watch this at this point. But I know Russia, Yes, Courtney, yes. Russia has one of the substances that is on my list, as actually it's illegal in Russia. I'm not sure about European laws. Again, I live in the United States. So, but we can cross-check. But in the United States, everything I'm going to be recommending is legal. But yeah, I have experimented with using mushrooms for dreaming every once in a while, maybe like 5 times or so over the course of a couple months. I'll like fall asleep like 2 hours in, see what happens. And I mean, that's interesting. I've not done any scientific studies yet. I have done scientific studies because I'm a scientist on other herbs and supplements, but I've not put anything on paper in that, just some mild experience. But that's like the super advanced course, for drug addicts edition. The problem with Ukraine is that you may not find these things in the market at all. Yeah, I'm not sure, Bodan. I don't know. For me, I live in the United States, so what I'm going to do is I want to provide just like a link where you can just buy everything online. I don't know about how it's going to be outside the United States, but also, the supplements are not necessary. They're not required, right? Like, they're, I think, in my opinion, an integral part of learning the thing in a fast manner, right? So like if you don't want to do the supplements, or you don't have access to them, or you can't afford it or whatever, and want to still have information that's worth doing and you can still do it, you might need to do like an extra week of things. The supplements really do help you develop the skill a lot faster. I will say the most common one is mugwort. So if you want to look that up, that is probably the number one, I would say, because it's extremely cheap. It's extremely cheap. You can get like a pound for like $10 or some shit. But that's extremely cheap. The next one I would say on the priority list would be Salea Zakatachichi. Also kind of cheap, but not as cheap as mugwort. And then we can go into more advanced ones. But anyway, that's my idea for that. I want to try to get that ready by the end of the month. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in a live stream format though. I just don't know if I'm going to be doing it in a live stream format. I think it might be better if I did it as a premiere format, just because, to be honest, I go to sleep around 10. So, to be honest with you, I'm not going to be on the top of my game. If I do it in a stream format, it's just not going to be as good, than, compared to if I did it in a non-stream format. So I'm probably going to do it in a premiere format, like with Cooking with the Bitch, but I hope that that's still interesting for people. I might even do like maybe every Friday I'll do a live stream version, maybe, something like that, possibly. But I think the bulk of it is going to be pre-recorded. But anyway, I like talking about myself. That's cool. I'm glad that people are interested in my branching out and my other projects. That's awesome. But I guess we should do a show, shouldn't we? There's a news program, is it not? Am I just going to do this whole program? That's the good thing about doing a podcast, is like when I do other projects, I get free advertising on my podcast. I don't need to like go to other people. Oh, I just go on my own show. I say, hey, I got this cool show. Oh shit, let me show it. It's that simple. Anyway, let me take a sip here. All right. So as I said, this is a news show, so we're going to get into some news. Mushrooms communicate with each other using up to 50 words, scientist claims. Professor theories electrical impulses sent by mycological organisms could be similar to human language. As we all know, I'm a mushroom fan. Not only am I a mushroom fan in the psychedelic sense, I'm a mushroom fan in the culinary sense, and just in general. I like mushrooms. I like fungus, though I prefer fungus that has mushrooms to fungus that does not have mushrooms. So, I'm a fungal fanatic, folks. Anyway, buried in forest litter or sprouting from trees, fungi might give the impression of being silent and relatively self-contained organisms. But a new study suggests they may be champignon communicators. Never seen that word before. See, I'm learning live on stream. Mathematical analyses of the electrical signals fungi seemingly send to one another has identified patterns that bear a striking structural similarity to human speech. Previous research has suggested that fungi conduct electrical impulses through long, underground, filamentous structures called hyphae, similar to how nerve cells transmit information in humans. It has even shown that the firing rate of these impulses increases when the hyphae of wood-digesting fungi come into contact with wooden blocks, raising the possibility that fungi use the electrical language to share information about food or injury with distant parts of themselves, or with hyphae-connected partners such as trees. So, I don't know when, but maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was, basically there was a lot of study done into the idea that plants and trees can communicate with each other via using the hyphae of mycelium, which is the body of mushroom, fungus. Mushroom is the sexual organs. That's like fruit, basically. The mycelium is the actual organism itself, the body of it. And so basically, plants have been documented to use the hyphae of mushroom mycelium as sort of like like a phone line of some sort, like a highway to transfer information. So this has been documented where there's lots of trees of similar species in areas. I believe these studies were done in the Pacific Northwest. There are lots of trees, the same species considered to be family. And so if one of them, let's say, had like a termite infestation, they would send off signals. They would be completely unconnected to the fellow trees. There would be no roots at all. This is part of the study. That would be connected to the fellow trees. And yet they would transfer nutrients and information over the mycelium network from one tree to another to help fight off things like a termite infestation. So that kind of stuff. So again, that's been documented. Now it's potentially being postulated that mushrooms are also using that, mushroom mycelium, I should say, is also using that to communicate with each other, which I think is a pretty obvious, understanding here. But let's keep going. But do these trains of electrical activity have anything in common with human language? To investigate, Professor Andrew Adamatsky at the University of the West of England's Unconventional Computing Laboratory in Bristol analyzed the patterns of electrical spikes generated by 4 species of fungi: enoki, split-gill, ghost, and caterpillar fungi. He did this by inserting tiny microelectrodes into substrates colonized by their patchwork of hyphae threads, their mycelia. We do not know if there's a direct relationship between spiking patterns in fungi and human speech. Possibly not. So it doesn't necessarily need to be speech in the sense that it's like, you can have open-ended creative conversations, but it could be speech in the sense of, hey, there's some food over here. Hey, we should go, we should be growing our body in this direction. Hey, this is good fruiting conditions over here, etc. So, on the other hand, there are many similarities in information processing and living substrates of different classes, families, and species. I was just curious to compare. The research published in Royal Society Open Science found that these spikes often clustered into trains of activity resembling vocabularies of up to 50 words. And the distribution of these fungal word lengths closely matched those of the human languages. Split gills, which grow on decaying wood and whose fruiting bodies resemble undulating waves of tightly packed coral, generated the most complex sentences of all. The most likely reasons for these waves of electrical activity are to maintain the fungi's integrity, analogous to wolves howling to maintain the integrity of their pack, or to report newly discovered sources of attractants and repellents to other parts of the mycelia, Adamski suggested. There is also another option. They are saying nothing. That's right. Imagine if Seinfeld was a mushroom. He said, propagating mycelium tips are electrically charged, and therefore, when the charged tips pass in a pair of different differential electrodes, a spike in the potential difference is recorded. Whatever these spiking events represent, they do not appear to be random, he added. That's the important part. If it was just like, that's one thing, right? But if it's patternistic speech, something like, Morse code or whatever, pattern recognition, then that's something to investigate. Even so, other scientists would like to see more evidence before they are willing to accept them as a form of language. Other types of pulsing behavior have previously been recorded in fungal networks, such as pulsing nutrient transport, possibly caused by rhythmic growth as fungi forage for food. This new paper detects rhythmic patterns in electrical signals of a similar frequency as the nutrient pulses we found, said Dan Beber, an associate professor of biosciences at the University of Exeter and a member of the British Mycology Society's Fungal Biology Research Committee. Though interesting, the interpretation as language seems somewhat over-enthusiastic and would require far more research and testing of critical hypotheses before we see fungus on Google Translate. So again, I say that, these are some negative Nellies here. Why not? They're talking to each other. Why the fuck not? Why not? Like, the idea that only humans are able to develop language. I mean, we know whales have a language. Whales, at least before humans fucked up the oceans, by the way. So, like, maybe, 200 years ago, whales could communicate with each other from, like, across an ocean. We know that elephants can talk to each other by vibrating, inside of their trunks, for example. And we've been able to actually, we being humans, have actually been able to translate some elephant language. Now, again, it's hard for us to make elephant noises, but there have been studies and research into seeing how elephants talk to each other. And, we've recognized certain combinations of vibrations that they will, send to each other as something like, I love you, let's go over here, that kind of stuff. So, yes, we know that organisms would communicate each other in some way, but whether or not it's language is kind of like, a more open-ended thing, like language evolves into, like it's more open-ended, right? Saying I need food is different than saying the words I and then need and then food. Right? Because you could say food in another context. You can say need in another context. You can say I in another, So it's important to understand, the idea that it could be language. I mean, we know other organisms on this planet are capable of speaking to each other in a language fashion, like whales or elephants. But mycelium, I'm a huge fungal fanatic. I'm in. Why not? I'm fucking in. So they're talking to each other. They're using words. Why the fuck not? But again, obviously needs more study, and I support any and all study into fungal research. Dolphins, that's right. I just like elephants and whales. They're cool. And they're big. And also we fuck them over. I mean, we fuck dolphins over for sure as well. But whales, I really feel bad for the whales. Like, whales were spending thousands and thousands of years just saying, yo, I'm on the other side of the Pacific. Come over, there's a party. And then 3 months later, the whale would come over. And it's like, yo, the party's still going on. What's up? Now there's like oil spills. There's like fucking giant fucking cargo ships everywhere making noise. And whales can no longer communicate in that fashion. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, that is fucked up. I may have to stop eating mushrooms. I don't eat anything that can talk. I will not stop eating mushrooms. So, take that as you will. I believe Personally, I believe that every organism, every DNA-based life form on this planet is sacred. I believe the DNA itself is sacred. And, you know, I do have an internal hierarchy. I am a mammal. So, I'm not going to eat mammals. Plants or fungi, you know. You should also understand, once again, that mushrooms are the fruiting body as well. So you're not eating their body. You're eating, like, you know, like a fruit. You know, it's like a cucumber or a tomato. So if you were to eat the mycelium itself, you would be eating their body. But eating the mushroom, you know, mushrooms are designed to spread spores and then disappear. Bonan, I just got to the news, you motherfucker. You're trolling me. Trolling me. Hello, Clay. Could I have some of your DNA for science? Yeah, come get it. You're just eating their penis. Yeah, basically. And it grows back. That's true. That's exactly right. All right. Microplastics found deep in lungs of living people for the first time. Microplastic pollution has been discovered lodged deep in the lungs of living people for the first time. The particles were found in almost all of the samples analyzed. The scientists said microplastic pollution was now ubiquitous across the planet, making human exposure unavoidable, and meaning there is an increasing concern regarding the hazards to health. So I've been very concerned about microplastics for a long time, ever since I first discovered that this was a thing a couple of years ago. For that reason, I much prefer getting food in glass containers. I much prefer, metal and glass to plastic. Plastic bottles and containers are just more likely to have microplastics. A lot of things that are manufactured with plastic. You know, think about it this way, right? Like look at this photo. This photo is like each visible microplastic shard is like the collection of a fuckload. Like microplastics can be like so small that you can barely see them or not see them at all. Right? So you could theoretically be playing with a toy that was made out of plastic as a kid. And like you're going like you're smacking their heads into each other. And then 20 minutes later put your hand in your mouth. There could have been microplastics on your fingers. But yeah, so I just real quick, I recommend whenever possible, don't use plastic. Don't use, if you're going to a market, they have those plastic rip-off bags or whatever. I use them still, but I've been really, every time I use them, I think I should come here to the market with a better alternative strategy. But anyway, glass and metal for anything that is, a jar of some kind, glass and metal. For a drink, glass and metal, in my opinion, is preferable. Though, there are, micro metals, there are, small shards of glass, as well, that can get into your system. But, in my opinion, with my understanding of how the world works, I think microplastics are more of a concern. But anyway, samples were taken from tissue removed from 13 patients undergoing surgery, and microplastics were found in 11 cases. That's a significant percentage. That's a significant fucking percentage. Used in plastic package, the most common particulates were polypropylene used in plastic packaging and pipes, and PET used in bottles. 2 previous studies had found microplastics at similarly high rates in lung tissue taken during autopsies. So once again, plastic, like plumbing pipes. Once again, I want to remind everyone, your tap water, a lot of people say, Flint doesn't have clean water. Actually, no one has clean water in the United States. So, needs to be understood, there is nowhere that you can get actually healthy and good tap water in this country. Maybe if you live in a mansion and you have your own water supply and you have like a giant aquifer or whatever, but if you are connected to any municipality, you have poisoned water. It's that simple. There is no if, there is no and, there's no but. Now, it might be degrees of poison, right? You might be consuming lead, you might be consuming metals and microplastics, you might just be consuming microplastics, you might just be consuming lead. A lot of the water, tap water in this country, is treated with chemicals that do not properly dissolve, that do not properly get filtered out before getting sent to your house, like chromium, chloroform, chlorine. If you are drinking tap water, you are being poisoned. Full stop. There is nowhere that has clean water in this country right out the tap. That is a 0% chance. If you are... Maybe it's possible if you live in like the fucking super higher echelon of like the most rich place in the world, in the country or whatever. It's possible. But if you make less than like $10 million a year, chances are your tap water is poisoned in some capacity. People were already known to breathe in tiny particles, as well as consuming them via food and water. Workers exposed to high levels of microplastics are also known to have developed disease. Microplastics were detected in human blood for the first time in March, showing the particles can travel around the body and may lodge in organs. The impact on health is as yet unknown. But researchers are concerned as microplastics cause damage to human cells. In the laboratory, and air pollution particles are already known to enter the body and cause millions of early deaths a year. We did not expect to find the highest number of particles in the lower regions of the lungs, or particles of the sizes we found, said Laura Sadowski at Hull York Medical School in the UK, a senior author of the study. It is surprising, as the airways are smaller in the lower parts of the lungs, and we would have expected particles of these sizes to be filtered out or trapped before getting this deep. So it's worse than they thought. This data provides an important advance in the field of air pollution, microplastics, and human health. She said the information could be used to create realistic conditions for laboratory experiments to determine health impacts. The research, which has been accepted for publication by the Journal Science of the Total Environment, used samples of healthy lung tissue for from next to surgery targets. It analyzed particles down to 0.003 millimeters in size and used spectroscopy to identify the type of plastic. It is also used to control samples to account for the level of background contamination. And the 2021 study in Brazil on autopsy samples found microplastics in 13 of the 20 people who were analyzed. That's like a D. Now, I want there to be 3 out of 20, or 1 out of 20, or, 0. 13 out of 20, that's like a D minus. You're passing, motherfucker. You're graduating high school with a D minus? That's not okay? It's not okay? The researchers concluded deleterious health outcomes may be related to those contaminations in the respiratory system following inhalation. A U.S. study of lung cancer patients in 1998 found plastic and plant fibers such as cotton in more than 100 samples. In cancerous tissue, 97% of the samples contained the fibers. In non-cancerous samples, 83%. So again, this is also more likely to develop to cancer. Now, for those of you that don't know what cancer is basically just your DNA replicating in a way that is not standard. Your DNA has been damaged or destroyed in some capacity. And there's like a buildup of cells that are not functioning properly, not being disposed of properly, and that creates things like, tumors, growths. That's what cancer is. So when microplastics are invading your cell walls and fucking up with your cells, they can slash and damage your DNA, which can cause cancer. So I'm just saying that's how that works. Huge amount of plastic waste are dumped in the environment, and microplastics contaminate the entire planet. From the summit of Mount Everest to the deepest oceans, microplastics have been found in placentas of pregnant women and in pregnant rats. They pass rapidly through the lungs into hearts, brains, and other organs of the fetuses. A recent review assessed cancer risk and concluded more detailed research on how micro and nanoplastics affect the structures and processes of the human body and whether or how they could transform cells and induce carcinogenesis is urgently needed, particularly in light of the exponential increase in plastic production. TLDR, we're fucked. I highly recommend reverse osmosis for drinking water. My opinion is, you know, ideally, I would want to have like every single water filter and have them in like one giant contraption. And I would like to do it with rainwater. That's my ideal. Like if I had infinite money, what I would do is I would build a rainwater hyperfiltration system. Because in my opinion, that's the best way to go about things. Fun fact, rainwater collection is illegal in some states. Isn't that crazy? If you put a bucket on your front porch when it's raining, technically you're breaking the law in some states. That's fucking crazy. Like, does anyone know how crazy that is? Like, why? What? You put a bucket on your front porch, you collect some water. Let's say you only use rainwater for, I don't know, like watering your garden, right? You know, so you just collect it when it rains, and then that way when it's not raining, you can, use it over time in your garden, right? That's illegal in some states. What the fuck? So, it's crazy. Yep. Got some goddamn news here. So, once again, recycling is a joke. It was marketing ploy to lie to us. We, the people, are responsible for the disposal of the products that make the fossil fuel industry billions. I agree, recycling, like, I don't know what the stats are, and it depends on where you are, but a lot of recycling plants, like, they just throw, like, half what they get into the landfill anyway, right? So, how can they ban water collection? Because we live in a fascist, tyrannical government. Is that simple? Nobody enforces that shit. That's true. But it doesn't matter if no one enforces it. It's still like a law. I mean, it does matter, right? You can still, I know a lot about breaking laws, right? And not being in jail. Right? But, still, the fact that, like, lawmakers decided to pass legislation in certain states to ban it implies that there's some fucking stupid-ass shit going on. Now, it's one of those things where they ban rainwater collection because they don't want people drinking it because it could be, if it's untreated rainwater, yeah, you shouldn't drink it. Right? Because there's, especially with air pollution from planes, stuff like that. Like, if you live in, the open farmland and there's, never any planes above you, like, if you're in one of those areas where it's, you're, in a flyover state, but, in such an area where, planes, usually the faster route doesn't involve, and, and you have open skies, clear skies, you can see the stars well, maybe, theoretically, you could consume untreated rainwater. Maybe. But, again, you should still, at least, if you want to drink it, you should still put it through some sort of filtration. Yeah. Anyway, red dye 40 causes ADHD or makes it worse. It's in everything we put in our kids and our drugs for ADHD. Fuck this society. I know a little bit about red dye 40. I got a little bit of, got my own addictions. I got my own addictions, of the red pop variety. So I'm very familiar with Red 40. But, yeah, again, the understanding is that if you drink untreated rainwater, right, in some areas it could be unhealthier than tap water, just because we have a lot of air chemical pollution, in areas that are like, you know, that have a lot of fires, that could be like, you know, certain particulates that get trapped in there, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I love these videos. These videos are great. And I want to play this for some comic relief. So, the good liars, they love posting clips of Trumpers being stupid. Here's another one. This guy said Antifa was behind the January 6th attack. We asked him one follow-up question and things got awkward. Now, the part I just want to announce, like, I just want to talk about, like, he's carrying, like, what is this, like an Arby's bag, right? But it's, like, torn to shreds. So it's like they've been carrying, around this, like, Arby's bag with them to the Trump event. Like, I just want to say, this is America. This is America. You go to the Trump fucking rally, Trump 2024, no more bullshit. You carry around your ripped up fucking Arby's bag, and you talk about how Antifa is now again, once again, these are conspiracy theories. Once again, this is stuff that's untrue. These people are dumb. I'm playing this clip for mockery purposes. Once again, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Joe Biden won the 2020 election fair and square. So with that being said, let's watch.
How do you all feel about the events of January 6th?
A lot of that was Antifa.
Really?
Yes.
Why would Antifa interrupt the certification of an election in which their candidate won? Wouldn't they want him to be certified?
They just want to disrupt in any way possible.
Do you think Antifa wanted him to be president? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah. So why would they interrupt?
So note that the woman is speaking out of turn. This gets fun.
The certification of the vote on January 6th.
Like, notice that he is looking at her and he's like he looks upset that she spoke on behalf of him in some way. So like, look at his demeanor here and then look how he looks at her.
Possible.
Do you think Antifa wanted him to be president? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah. So why would they interrupt the certification of the vote on January 6th?
I have a different view of things.
Well, it's just like if you have a.
Yeah, it
doesn't make sense, right? Like, why would they do that?
Well,
it's amazing. It's amazing. This is one of my favorite things to do. Is I've got Republican right-wing people in my family, and one of the best things in the world to do is to treat them like you're playing like a fucking RPG. You just treat them like a dialogue tree, right? And you just click all the options, right? Like, that's the thing with right-wingers, is they have no original thought. They are completely programmed. They have no critical thinking capabilities. They get all of their talking points from television, right? So I need you, like, if you have any Republican friends, neighbors, fucking family members, just ask them questions like this. Almost every time the Good Liars post posts like this, it's just funny because they just ask them, like, 1 or 2 follow-up questions. And then you can see the gears turning in their mind. Wait a second. I just want to play this last part.
Yeah, it
doesn't make sense, right? Like, why would they do that?
Well,
but once again, back on that point, is that they don't have any unique thought. They are literally not thinking people. They are not rational, critical thinkers. So what they do is they hear something on television and they repeat it word for word. Maybe sometimes they'll use some synonyms, right? But they're not thinking people. They're not rational people. They're not critical thinkers. If you are a Republican, you have been brainwashed in the same way that I would say if you are a Democrat, you have been brainwashed, right? But Republicans are significantly more so by an order of magnitude. There was a poll that came out that said Republicans are 3 times as likely as compared to Democrats to support a candidate of their party that's been convicted of sexual assault. So Democrats I think like it was like 1 in 10 Democrats would consider supporting their candidate in a general election if they were convicted of sexual assault. 3 in 10 Republicans would, but I got to look into that poll a little bit more. I saw that on Twitter. But anyway, these motherfuckers are fucking stupid. They get all of their talking points from the internet or from the news or from politicians that they like. So when you ask them follow-up questions like, where did you get that idea? How would that idea actually work? What's part 2 of that? So you say that, and then what? And they break down every time. Every fucking time. Now again, some Republicans are the propagandists themselves. They are so deeply within the conspiracy networks that they are able to use mental gymnastics and jujitsu. A lot of younger Republicans or those that use the internet a little bit more may be able to have 15 conspiracies back to back to back to back to back. But most Republicans, they just hear these things in the ether. You ask them maybe 1, 2, possibly 3 follow-up questions, and their entire worldview just just destroys itself. It spontaneously combusts. And I think it's really important to understand, yes, Republicans are people. They're just really dumb people. They're just really fucking stupid. Right? Again, people in general are dumb. How many, statistics do I need to tell you? Humans, especially Americans, fucking stupid. A majority of Americans still think capitalism is a good idea. They've been so brainwashed that they think the idea of starving if you can't hold a job is, oh yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Let's just let people starve and die on the street if they are unable to work. If you think that makes sense, if you think that, oh, that's a good idea, you're brainwashed, you're fucking stupid. You're a dumbass. It's one thing if you're a billionaire, like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Obviously, you'd support capitalism. You're winning. But if you make less than $2 billion a year and you support capitalism, you're a loser. You're losing. You're a useful idiot. You've been brainwashed. You're a fucking moron. You have no critical thinking skills, and you should go fuck yourself. But once again, Trumpers, specifically, as a brand, are dumb as fuck. And again, I got a couple Trumpers in my family, and it's just fun. It's like I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, right? You just click on every dialogue option just to see what they say. Because it's just entertaining. Just to see what comes out of these fucking stupid pricks' mouths. It's just fucking entertaining. But anyway, I just want to play this part again.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Why would they do that?
Well.
And again, I love the ripped up, torn up Arby's bag. It's just, this is art. This is art. If this were on a wall at a museum, I would stare at this for hours because that is art. Well. Gotta leave the house, but I'll be listening. I can't believe I really have to leave my property today. I know. I hate it. Hate when that happens. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of the Good Liars. I like them. They do it like their style of interviewing stupid motherfuckers is just really good. Something we can all strive for. No charges filed in no-knock warrant killing of Amir Locke. So this came out yesterday. Once again, just to remind everyone, Amir Locke was murdered by a SWAT team enforcing a no-knock warrant in the city of Minneapolis. I believe this was a couple of months ago. I want to say it was this year, I think. It might have been late last year, but I think it was this year. My sense of time is fucked up. But, so what happened was, Minneapolis, after George Floyd was murdered, said, no. we're not going to abolish the police. The city council actually voted to abolish the police. But, you know, America's going to America. And they said, nah, fuck that. We're just going to override the will of the voters. So, part of what they said is, oh, no, we're not going to abolish them. We're going to reform them. We're going to fix a lot of the problems. We're going to ban the chokeholds. We're going to ban all this. We're going to ban no-knock warrants. Look at us. Look at how great we are. Boy wonder and future presidential candidate, just like Pete Buttigieg probably, Mayor Jacob Frey, went on a victory tour talking about how he successfully managed to combat the radical left abolitionists and managed to get real-world, practical police reform. So what happened was, to my understanding, there was a neighboring city, I believe it's St. Paul, their police force or whatever, worked with the Minneapolis police force to do a warrant for arrest. Now, Amir Locke is not on the warrant. He, to my understanding, was a delivery driver and, you know, was staying at his friend's house instead of just going home for the night because maybe he was out late doing work or whatever, and his friend was nearby, so he just crashed on the couch. That's a death sentence in America. Crashing on your friend's couch because you don't feel like driving, you know, a couple, like 20 minutes home. That's a death sentence in this country. Amir Locke was a legal gun owner. He had all of his ducks in order. He legally purchased and owned a firearm for self-defense. Common misconception is that he pointed it at police. He did not point the gun at anyone. If you have a gun on you and you are startled when you wake up because people are breaking into your house and screaming, it is a reflexive reaction to grab your gun. He did not point the gun at police, but even if he did, that would be okay. But he grabbed the gun. He had it in his hand, and for that he was murdered. A legal gun owner sleeping on a friend's couch was murdered. Wasn't even on this warrant. But back to the no-knock thing. Once again, Jacob Frey, after George Floyd's murder, and after trying to successfully combat the abolition movement in Minneapolis, said, don't worry, we got these big-ass reforms. They're going to be great. Well, the Minneapolis Police Department specifically changed a knock warrant into a no-knock warrant. They went out of their way to say, yo, I don't feel like knocking. And they went out of their way to change it to a no-knock warrant. And they're not being charged. They murdered someone, a legal gun owner, right? Violating the mayor's own policy, violating their own department policy. This is murder. Every step of the way, it's murder. The government kills 3 people minimum every day. By that I mean police. Police murder 3 people every day in this country. 98% of police murders result in no charges. Minnesota prosecutors declined to file charges Wednesday against the Minneapolis police SWAT team officer who fatally shot Amir Locke, aka murdered, while executing. Now, they use the word execute for a fucking piece of paper, but they're afraid to use the word execute for someone being shot illegally, murdered illegally. Note that. Like, they're not afraid of the word execute, but they're going to use it in benign context. It's ridiculous. This is, of course, from the AP. An early morning no-knock search warrant in a downtown apartment in February. Locke, 22, who is black, was staying on a couch in his cousin's apartment when authorities entered it on February 2nd without knocking as part of an investigation into a homicide in neighboring St. Paul. Prosecutors said body camera video showed that Locke pointed a gun at Officer Mark Hanneman. By the way, Mark Hanneman has several dozen abuse of force complaints against him. He has been in the news For years and years, 5 years, 6 years, I saw, I believe, Unicorn Riot posted a bunch of information on this guy back in February when this happened. This guy was caught in a scandal, to my understanding, planting drugs in neighborhoods, trying to create, ways, just excuses to kill people and lock people up in steel cages. This guy's a freak show. Justifying his use of deadly force. Locke's family has disputed that, arguing that the footage suggests Locke was startled awake and he grabbed for the gun while he was licensed to carry. Again, the video shows he is not pointing the gun. Pointing a gun, let's imagine this is my boom arm, device that broke off. My boom arm is broken, but this is on my table. So imagine this is the barrel of a gun. Now imagine you are the camera. Now, again, there's video of this. There's video of this. This is not pointing the gun at you. Now, if I did that, that would be pointing the gun. That's not what happened. You can watch the video. He did not point the gun. Now, that being said, if he did point the gun, he would be justified. If he shot and killed every police officer, he would be justified. That's just a fact. The police violated his civil rights. They did a no-knock warrant, which should have, again, not been allowed in that jurisdiction. If someone breaks into your house, stand your fucking ground. You have a Second Amendment right to stand your fucking ground and defend yourself. So if he killed somehow every single one of those cops, that would be 1,000% justified. But he didn't even try. He wasn't even close. Locke's mother, Karen Wells, said she was disgusted by the decision. At a news conference in New York with attorney Ben Crump and civil rights leader, the Reverend, I don't know what the is for. The's not capitalized, but it's part of his title. I don't know. Al Sharpton, she vowed to keep up pressure on Minneapolis city leaders and spoke directly to Henneman. This is not over. You may have been found not guilty, but just to be clear, he was not found not guilty. That was not happen. To be found not guilty, I know I'm not trying to criticize her words too much. To be found not guilty, you would need to go to trial. You need to be charged. There would need to be a court to review the case, and then they would determine that you're not guilty. That did not happen. Once again, 98.3% of police murders result in no charges. Now, if you want to say that they're justified, if you want to say police murders are justified all the time, okay, then why don't we prosecute and go check this out in a court of law? If I go to Bojangles and shoot someone in the fucking head with my AK-47, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to go to a court of law and I'm going to be found either guilty or not guilty based on the evidence. If you're a police officer and you shoot someone in the head with your AK-47, you don't even have to go through that. So once again, he was not found not guilty. I just want to be very clear. You may have been found not guilty, but in the eyes of me, being the mother I am, you are guilty, well said, and I am not going to give up. Continue to have your restless nights, because I know you do. Locke was shot seconds after officers entered the apartment. The body camera footage shows that Locke was holding a gun before he was shot. Again, emphasis on holding a gun. He was holding a gun. Legal firearm owner held their gun when intruders broke into the place they were staying at. Locke was shot seconds. Okay. Attorney General Keith Ellison and Hennepin County Attorney Michael Freeman, whose offices reviewed the case, said Locke might never have been shot if not for the no-knock warrant. But they said there was insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Henneman violated the state statute governing when police can use deadly force. I don't care. I don't fucking care what fucking Keith motherfuck shitfuck Ellison has to say. In my opinion, this undoes all of the goodwill that he may have accrued during 2020 and 2021. Completely undone. Once again, if he did not violate the law, why not go through the court procedure to verify that? The idea that you're not even going to take them to court is what's ridiculous. Let's assume, again, the law is on their side. The law was designed by white supremacists and neo-Nazis and murderers and fascists as a way to oppress minorities, especially black people, right? So the law is designed that way. So let's say the law is on their side, which it is. In order to verify that, you would need to go through a court of fucking law. You need to verify that. You murdered someone. You killed someone. Your actions resulted in another human being dying. I don't care what Keith Ellison or Michael Freeman have to fucking say. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. These are fucking losers. These are disappointing failures of politicians. They should prosecute them even if they know they're going to lose, because it's the right thing to fucking do. It would be unethical for us to file charges in a case in which we know that we will not be able to prevail because the law does not support the charges. It would be unethical. Someone is dead, and you're worried about the ethics of my law books. An innocent 22-year-old, younger than me, was murdered, and you're more concerned with, well, actually, the technicalities of the law, is unethical. You know what's unethical? Shooting and killing another human being. That's unethical. You know what's unethical? Doing a no-knock warrant when your mayor explicitly campaigned on the fact that no-knock warrants were no longer allowed. That's unethical. Once again, the state prosecutes people in ridiculous ways all the time. Hey, in my specific instance, last year, when I was engaged in a protest movement over a similar police murder, I had the state throw bullshit, trumped up charges on me. I had to go to court several times. The state had no problem with putting an unethical case against me for doing nothing. They made up a law. They made up a violation of the law. They completely made it up. There's no evidence, but they charged me anyway. And I had to go to court several times. I had to deal with lawyers and all that fucking stupid bullshit. So it's not like the government's like, oh, well, that's unethical, so we can't do it. It's not like there's any standard there. And when it comes to prosecuting citizens, fuck them. We'll use millions and millions of dollars of our court fucking system, court fees. We'll pay all these people to do all this bullshit for no reason, even though we know we're going to lose the case, just to fuck with them a little bit. When it's a police officer, all of it, it's unethical. Can't do it. Sorry. There is no standard. There is no standard. Keith Ellison is a liar, a disappointment, a fraud, a gangster, and evil. That is a disgusting fucking statement. Locke's death came as 3 former Minneapolis police officers were on trial in federal court in St. Paul in George Floyd's killing. It sparked protests and a re-examination of no-knock search warrants. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey announced an immediate moratorium on such warrants. And on Tuesday, he formalized a new policy requiring officers to knock and wait before entering a residence with limited exceptions. Once again, the limited exceptions, you either do it or you don't. There is no limited exceptions. Why? Because cops will always lie. They know what limited exceptions mean is that, oh, well, this needs to be this sort of thing that needs to happen. Cops will just make that up just for fun. They'll lie about the case. They'll add an extra detail. They'll forget to cross a T somewhere. All of a sudden, they fall under the purview of this loophole. You either ban them or you don't. There is no limited fucking exceptions. This is like Boris Johnson saying, yeah, we're going to ban conversion therapy unless you're trans. Then it's just fine. You're not banning conversion therapy if you're going to allow any exception. That's not how words work. You cannot ban no-knock warrants if there's exceptions. Because governments will always lie to fall into the purviews of these loopholes. And wait before entering a residence with limited exceptions. Some lawmakers have been pushing for a statewide ban on no-knock warrants, except in rare circumstances. Again, this part doesn't matter. that might as well pass the law. You might get some good boy points in the media, like Jacob Frey did last year and the year before. If you pass a bullshit, like, pretend, make-believe, fairy tale law, you might. So might as well do it. Pass a law that doesn't change anything in the real world but makes yourself feel better? Why not? The department issued a statement from interim chief Amelia Huffman saying that Henneman returned to active duty on February 28th, but is no longer on a SWAT team. She did not comment directly on Henneman's actions, but said officers never want to face split-second decisions that end up in the loss of life. Are you sure about that? If that were the case, then how come 3 people get shot and killed by cops every single day in this country? If you don't want to be put in that position, you don't become a cop. Once again, 80% of cops voted for Donald Trump, an open, avowed neo-Nazi fascist. 40% of cops have been documented in a self-reported study to beat their spouses. Look it up, 40% police. That is self-reported, meaning the spouses in an anonymous survey had the courage to say, yes, my cop spouse or father or, brother or whatever beats the shit out of me for entertainment. Now imagine the ones that didn't have the courage to say that, even though it was anonymous, because they fear, oh, what if they can hear me in the other room? Oh, what if they find out? This is 40%, nearly half, in a self-reported study. So if you become a cop, you do that because you want to inflict violence on other people. That is the only reason to become a police officer. Locke's family was angry. The police initially described him as a suspect. Once again, cops always lie. George Floyd was, quote, a man dies of a medical incident. Remember that first press release when George Floyd was fucking murdered? Right, there was body camera video, government-produced snuff film of George Floyd available, but they chose to hide it and cover it up and lie, and they did not realize that the cell phone video would become such a viral thing online that would show the truth. So they have body camera footage, government-produced, state-sanctioned, and paid-for snuff film of George Floyd. They all looked at it. They all said, this is fucked up. So let's just lie. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. There's video of it happening, but let's just lie. See what happens. Because there's no accountability. It's not like you can just send a records request and get all the body camera for a case or something. It's not like that happens. So they just lie. George Floyd died of a medical incident. That's how that was initially reported. Cops always lie. Every single time. Every single motherfucking time. They lie. Just like in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, when the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department murdered Andrew Brown Jr., they said, oh, well, we had an arrest warrant, so we had to murder him. Turns out, they didn't have an arrest warrant, and the warrant that they had was barely, it was signed after the shooting. Whoops. Cops always lie. When someone gets killed or injured, and they're asked about it, their first instinct is to lie. That is their first and only instinct. Look at the case with Michael Ryanel, who Donald Trump ordered the extrajudicial murder on live television for. Police claimed that he pointed a gun and engaged in a shootout with them. There were, I believe, more than 5 witnesses that saw it, that said Michael Ryanel was murdered before he even turned around. He was eating gummy bears. He was literally walking to his car, eating candy, and was shot in the back. That's what all the witnesses say. The body camera footage mysteriously disappeared. The names of those officers mysteriously gone. Donald Trump went on national television and proudly said, yes, it had to be done. Cops always lie. That is 100% certainty. If a cop is saying something to you, always assume that the truth is nowhere on the same planet, because they always lie. There is no reason for a cop to tell the truth, ever. Their job description says, lie to everyone all the time. Those are the rules of being a police officer, is to lie. You are trained to lie. You are told to lie. You are taught to lie. That is the life of a police officer. Our investigation found no evidence that he had any role in the homicidal investigation that brought the police to his door at 6:48 on February 2nd, Ellison said. Now, again, there was another thing that said that they shouldn't do no-knocks before 7 a.m. or something, I believe, and they did it at 6:48. He never should have been called a suspect. Again, fuck Keith Ellison. And not in the good dick way. In their applications for search warrants of the Minneapolis apartment and other locations, authorities said a no-knock warrant was necessary to protect the public and officers as they looked for guns, drugs, and clothing worn by people suspected in a violent killing. Oh, I mean, there might be drugs in the house, so we gotta kick the door down and shoot whoever we see. Like you're playing like one of those fucking on-rail shooters like Time Crisis at the fucking arcade where the motherfuckers pop out of a coffee table and you fucking... That's how they view real life. I mean, there's drugs. There might be clothing in the house, so can't do a no-knock warrant because there was clothing in there. What the fuck does that even mean? Authorities asked that officers be allowed to conduct the search without knocking and outside the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. because the suspects being sought in the January 10 killing of Otis Elder had a history of violence. Locke was killed seconds after SWAT team entered the apartment at 6:48 a.m. Body camera video shows an officer using a key to unlock the door and enter, followed by at least 4 officers in uniform and protective vests. Now again, they have body armor. They've got a bunch of these motherfuckers with body armor. So let's assume Amir Locke fired however many bullets he had in his magazine at these police. Chances are they wouldn't even be killed because they're decked to the fucking brim in body fucking armor. Let's assume Amir Locke got into a shootout, had like a submachine gun, an AK-47, and 10 fucking magazines of a handgun, and fired every single bullet at them. They have fucking body armor on. Again, the idea that they would need to shoot someone in seconds instead of saying, hey, drop the gun, motherfucker, or any other thing, or saying, police, 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 before you break into their house. And it's also, where did they get the key from? Probably the landlord. The video shows an officer kicking a sectional sofa, and Locke is seen wrapped in a comforter, holding a pistol. 3 shots are heard, and the video ends. Now look at this reporting. 3 shots are heard. What does that mean? 3 shots are heard? Police shot Amir 3 times. There's not 3 shots are heard. Oh, where'd the shots come from? Who knows? I was convinced that the individual was going to fire their handgun and that I would suffer great bodily harm or death, Henneman wrote in a statement to investigators. You know what he also wrote? That Amir Locke was a suspect. Once again, cops lie. All the time, cops lie. So, Amir Locke is a suspect. I feared for my life. I felt in this moment that if I did not use deadly force myself, I would likely be killed. Now let's assume he is telling the truth. Which he might be. He might just view black people as subhuman criminal scum. Oh no, there's a black person, so I gotta kill them instantly or else they might claw me to death. It's possible that this guy is just a disgusting white supremacist moron. But does that sound like someone you should have on the police force? Does that sound like someone you should have on a SWAT team? Such a beta male, cowardly son of a bitch that just sees a black person and instantly just fears for their life. Oh no, there's a black person. Oh God. Oh! Really? Ellison and Friedman said they spoke with Locke's parents on Wednesday before announcing they wouldn't file charges. They, like us, are very frustrated with the no-knock warrants. They, like us, believe that if a no-knock warrant had been used, blah, blah, blah. So what they're trying to do is say, we spoke with the family, we're doing everything we can. They want you to believe that they're doing everything that they can. They're not. They could charge them. Again, 98% of police murders result in no charges. Let's assume they're all justified. Killing 3 people per day? Let's assume every single one is justified. Just for the sake of argument, you should still go through a court of law, trial, jury with your peers to decide whether or not they're justified. You should have to present to a jury why you decided to shoot and kill another human being. That's just how it works. If I shoot and kill someone, I go to court. I have to explain why I thought that I needed to shoot and kill that person. So how come police, all of it, they just don't have to do that? Sounds to me like if I want to kill people, I should become a cop. If you want to murder people without facing any consequences, you have a 98% chance of not even being charged if you're a cop. Anyway, you can read the rest of this if you want, but it's not that important. Anyway, obviously, we need to abolish police in this country. We need to completely start from scratch in how we do law enforcement. Again, police as an institution in this country descended from slave patrols. Police were designed originally to find, they were bounty hunters, to find, kill, or round up escaped slaves. That is the origin of many of these departments. The laws that are written by fascists and slave owners to give them all the rights and power. Once again, where's the Second Amendment crowd? Amir Locke, legal gun owner. Let's assume, again, legal gun owner, he shot all of the bullets that he had available to him at these intruders. That would still be justified under the Second Amendment. But because it's cops, there's one kind of gang in this country that can get away with anything. If it's a non-state sanctioned gang, you can shoot and kill them, and then maybe you can argue self-defense in court. Or maybe you won't even go to court, right? But if it's the state-sanctioned murder department gang, there is no justice. There will never be justice as long as these people are still walking around with guns and badges. It's just that simple. Shit's ridiculous, y'all. I might sneeze soon. Son of a bitch! All right, y'all. Let's try to end the show on a decent note. Where did this take place at? Minneapolis. Reminder once again, I want everybody to watch the first episode of the second iteration of Cooking with the B Word. Find the link there. This is my new side project. Well, I mean, it's not new, right? But it's the next iteration of my side project. If you want to watch me teach you how to make healthy food, check it out. Share with your friends. Share with your family. It's entertaining, so I'm told. It's funny, so I'm told. And it's educational, so I'm told. So, I want to have a positive impact on people and their health. I talk about it all the time on my show. And I'm putting actions to my words once again. And I want to share my food knowledge in an in-depth fashion to help people master their own health. Once again, everything you put into your body, you should do the same amount of research that you would do if you were to put heroin in your body. Everything that enters your body is a drug, is a substance that has pros and cons potentially. And you should be extremely educated on those substances, regardless of its heroin, regardless of its meat. If it's a vegetable, you should know everything about what's going on and what you're putting into your body to the best of your capability. And so once again, I'm going to try to share my knowledge with everyone. So please feel free to, if you know someone that maybe isn't into politics, but you think they might like my style in other ways, feel free to send them this episode. And I would appreciate that. So thank you. That being said, let's try to end today's ep with something interesting. So Joseph Robinette II of the Biden variety of the Biden clan has some words to say in regards to the Amazon labor union victory. Let's watch.
What unions are about, in my view, about providing dignity and respect for people who bust their neck. That's why I created the White House Task Force on Worker Organization and Empowerment, to make sure the choice to join a union belongs to workers alone. And by the way, Amazon, here we come. Watch.
So, is it cool that the President of the United States is ostensibly supporting unions with words? Yeah, okay. But I mean, Amazon, here we come. Like, you're not doing anything, but he's not doing anything. Like, it's cool. It's awesome to hear this. The President of the United States supporting a union victory. That's awesome. But the idea that he's like, here we come, as if he played any role in this. I mean, it's hilarious. Like, all the people that were like criticizing AOC for congratulating the union one time were accusing her of like taking credit for it or whatever. Like, whatever that fucking means, by the way. And then Joe Biden waltzes over and literally says, here we come. Like, he's like, yeah, this is all me. I made a task force, and without that task force, this wouldn't have happened. It's all me. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message. Yes, is it cool to hear the President of the United States say something like that to a corporation? Absolutely. But would it be cooler if he actually did something about it instead of just positive words after the fact? That would be cooler. And I hope he does. But once again, it is important to understand that the President of the United States being ostensibly pro-union in speeches is going to make more people feel more comfortable with the concept of unionizing all across the country. And so, yes, this does have a positive effect. The more people that talk more positively about more unions organizing will have more unions feel, or more potential unions see and hear that and associate unions with a positive message. I'm sorry. And that will spread to more unionization. It's an exponential effect going on here. So yes, this is cool. This is good. But I mean, again, he's acting like his task force is like, oh, well, I mean, I made the task force. I made a task force. Whoa, that's crazy. But there you go. Joe Robinette Biden Jr., the second iteration of the Joe Robinette Biden line, the second model. There was a third model, I believe, but it was very unsuccessful. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know why I make that joke. I mean, maybe I shouldn't make jokes about his dead kid, but I do anyway. So anyway, there you go. Yeah, third model, kind of defective. I'm sorry. I know, it's fucked up. But it is funny. Anyway, that's going to be my program today. Once again, y'all, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a live stream playing Doom. Going to be starting up some Doom Wads, a new Doom streaming series coming in tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So 24 hours and 30 minutes plus 3. So that's something. 27 hours and 30 minutes. Well, 27 hours and 23 minutes. I will be streaming Doom. Come in, shitpost, or don't. And I would appreciate that. Once again, I would appreciate if you watch my cooking show. I don't like jokes about cancer victims, but that was awfully good delivery. Well, I would like to announce my mother had cancer, and so I'm allowed. I'm allowed. I don't know what to tell you. So, I've dealt with cancer in my family, so therefore, I've got the card. I've got the membership club card, and I'm allowed to make jokes about it because of that. So, I'm just throwing that... God damn. $10 elephants out of 10. I mean, that's pretty good, Mila, considering I announced that I was addicted to Red Dye 40 on the show. I thought that would give me a 9.5 elephants. But I'm glad that you can look past that. Anyway, y'all, once again, the best goddamn on the whole goddamn. Yeah. I am tired. I have an idea about expanding your audience, but that would require a small amount of effort. Hit me. Let's go. Let's go. Hit me. I'm ready. Unless you want to send it to me privately, then that's also cool. But hit me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm bracing for impact. I got my seatbelt on. Let's go. Hit me. Come on. Let's go. I'm ready. Oh, what do I think about going on to other shows? I'd love to. I just need to go on the shows. I told you, like, this is my problem. Oh, like visiting the chats. Okay. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. Sometimes I do. Like, when I wake up early, sometimes I'll watch Ben Dixon's show. But I really find it hard to watch live streams. Being active in their chat streams, maybe. Like, you have to understand, I've got a problem. Like, I don't know how to, like, talk to other people. Have you ever watched Ben Carollo? She's on Twitch and TYT. She's transitioning. I've never heard of them. Feel free to send me whatever. I just, like, for me, watching a VOD is just so much more easy. And also, I haven't been watching many other podcasters recently, just because I've got a lot of projects going on. So, I don't know. Like, maybe I can try to more. But, like, I don't, like, what do I say in the chat? Like, ah ha ha, that's a good joke. Okay, well, feel free to send me a message on whatever messaging platform or application, or just leave a comment or whatever in one of the videos or this video when the stream's over, with materials to look at. But I don't know. I just it's hard for me to do that. I'm not a good social person. I don't know. EC is a good model. I found her stream because she's active in chats. Well, I mean, like, what should I do? Like, haha. Like, I remember when I was first starting out on Twitch, when it was like Justin TV. Fucking 2012, 2011 maybe. And I remember one of my strategies was I would go to other people's chats and I would talk for 20 minutes. And then I'd do the classic, like, all right, I got to start my own stream. Have a good one. That was my, when I was like fucking, you know, I don't know how old I was, like 14 or 15 or whatever. That was my strategy. But I mean, to me, that's just cringy. Like, I can't do that. Like, that's just cringy. It's like, all right, that was fun watching. I gotta go. I'm doing my own stream. I have no problem with that. If someone does that in my chat, I don't mind. But, I don't know, man. Like, yep, good old Justin TV. Goddamn. Like, the fact that I'm even able to do this show is a miracle of nature, given my personality makeup. I found you through your Jimmy Neutron speedrun on the GameCube. That's amazing. It's incredible. Yeah, I like the fact that I'm able to wake up in the morning and do this is, again, it is like scientists will be studying this. This will be like, you know, people like historians will look back at this moment, right? They will see, oh, wow, you know, this is crazy. But maybe, I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. But you know, I don't know how easy it's going to be. Like, every once in a while, I'll do it. I'll say hello at the very least. When I watch the live stream, I'll try to say hello. But also, like, I don't know, like, who am I saying hi to? The chat? I don't really know anyone. Like, oh, hi, chat. Like, I don't know, like, there's lots of things I could do that I know about as far as marketing strategies. Like, I have a Twitter account that has like 3,000 followers. I could promote my show on Twitter more. I could have, but I don't. The only reason I have a Twitter is just to like talk about like when I'm high or something. Or like post pictures of my face to farm compliments. I've been trying to get the Vanguard to interview you. Is that cool? I actually sent them a message at one point after they made that video where they admitted that Jimmy Dore was a grifter. I said, you know, that's interesting. You know, I'd love to have a conversation about that on a show. And they never got back to me. I don't know. It's like I get a lot of people that send me messages and sometimes I don't see them. Because I have an anxiety disorder, and when I see my email inbox that has like more than 3 messages in there, I'll like, all right, I'm not gonna look at that for the next 2 weeks. And then I look at it 2 weeks later, it's got like fucking 58 emails in it. All right, so I'm just gonna cancel my my email server payments so that I never have to look at this. I'm just gonna delete my account so that I don't have to. So. They said they know of me. Well, I mean, open invitation. Speaking of which, I do have a guest lined up for next week. I'll announce who the guest is later, but I do have a guest lined up for next week. If you have a Twitter account and you are active in what is known as left Twitter, you may know this guest. They're very controversial. So, but I will have a guest next week. That's lined up. But yeah, I'm really bad. I try, but it's like I'm just really bad. I'm really like I can't like I need to be in a very specific mindset. I need to be like in a very specific mood to be able to handle people sending me things or writing to me. It's just, it's a problem. Like, there's a reason I barely ever use my Discord server. Like, just, like, I don't respond to DMs often. It's just, it's a problem. I try to work on it. I've gotten better over time. But, you know, just not good. Like, there's just so much going on. It's like, you know, it's a lot, you know? I need a team. Maybe. It's possible. But anyway, that's it. That's the program. Oh. Once again, I would like to remind everyone I've got the hood here, right? So that I can do the mask, right? There you go. Look at me. I'm like those weirdos you see at the grocery store who like are trying but in the worst way possible. This is why I have the hood in my front. It's totally not that I picked up my clothes and just didn't pay attention to how I put them on. That's not the case. Me putting my shirt on backwards was actually a very purposeful action. And so, you know, again, I'm protecting myself from the virus right now. By doing that. Uh-oh. We're promoting you without your knowledge. That's the ideal scenario, is people promote me without my knowledge or interaction or anything. That's the ideal scenario. I just wake up and I think people come into my stream because I'm just so amazing. Like, I want to wake up, I want to turn my stream on, and I want people to call me beautiful and smart and funny, and I want to be under the illusion that it's all because of my efforts and because of me being beautiful, smart, and funny, and that no one else has anything to do about it, because then I'll feel bad. I've got an idea. Andrea, well, Lindsay has an idea. Something I'm doing for my TWD channel. I mod for and run the Discord server for. We're like 300 subscribers away from 100K? What is TWD? I'm assuming I don't know. It's like, you know, SpongeBob when he's writing the essay. I'm doing it, some of these. And then he fucking, you know, blows it off and it's just the. That's all I got. The. Do white people there wear buff scarves like they're gaming the system as opposed to wearing an actual mask? I mean, nowadays they just don't wear masks. But like when the pandemic first started, that was like their kind of... That was their way of like, you know, being like, yeah, I'm protesting my own way, man. But now they just, you know, there's no mask mandate, so they just, you know. You are uniquely awesome. It's possible. It's possible. Stop having kids at SHK Movement Normalizing Antinatalism. Well, you know me, as a transgender American, I have chemically castrated myself. I am unable to produce children for the rest of my life. I've taken life-altering drugs. I am no longer able to produce children in any fashion. So, I'm on board. I'm on board with that. I mean, I could see myself adopting in the future. It's possible. But, you know, no production here. So, we're all good. In solidarity. The Walking Dead. Okay. I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. Unless, like, you want me to watch it and then come on the show? Hey, I just saw this for the first time. Whoa! By the way, watch my cooking show. You are amazing, smart, and funny. And that's why I'm here daily. That's incredible. How is that even possible? I'm not sure. Yeah, I need human love solidarity to go into other chats and say, Andrea Rovenski, the smartest motherfucker on planet Earth, the most well-read, intellectual to ever live, the best cook and or chef, I'm not sure what the difference is, to ever walk this planet. That's what needs to happen. But will it happen? Who knows? It's possible. Anything is possible when you really think about it. They're in the 11th season. I got a lot of catching up to do. It's one of my obsessions. Zombies. I also have all the comics and collective Funko Pops. That's interesting. I love zombies, but I'm more of like a video game zombie person. I mean, I love like the Night of the Living Dead, that stuff. Awesome. I love classic zombies. But, I mean, like, I love zombie video games. Like, Dead Rising, one of my favorite games is Dead Rising. I love Left 4 Dead. Shit's amazing. Resident Evil, love that shit. I love zombies in video games mostly. I like classic zombie movies. But, you know, I maybe I should get into it. I don't know. I'm into the zombie thing. In your About page on YouTube, have a sentence I can copy and paste for me to spread the message. I haven't changed my About page in like fucking 3 years, I don't think. I love you, girl, but that's beyond F up. Don't want to be that person. Both sides of the road can't relate in any way. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, you're not allowed unless you're happy it happened. No membership there. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Left 4 Dead has a weird mechanics and gameplay. You just wander around in the same area. I disagree. You might be thinking of Dead Rising. That's true. Dead Rising has weird mechanics and like the clock and stuff. That's Dead Rising. Left 4 Dead is like just a first-person shooter where you progress in levels. Like you just go from the start to the exit. It's kind of like Doom in that sense. But yeah, I'm big into zombies. I just, you know, I just don't consume as much zombie-related media as I might otherwise. I recommend the offbeat zombie film, Pontypool. All right. It's been officially recommended. It's happened. I remember that fucking Red Dead Redemption DLC. That shit was fucking awesome. Anyone remember Red Dead Redemption? And then they made the zombie DLC, which is like, so it's just Red Dead Redemption. You're wandering around the fucking Cowboy West, right? And there's zombies everywhere. That shit was epic. And there's zombie horses and shit, man. God damn. I always wished that like they would do that for Grand Theft Auto games. Imagine playing like Grand Theft Auto 3, but there's zombies everywhere. I met George Romero 15 years ago watching Night of the Living Dead in the theater with him, got an autograph. Now that's incredible. Have I played Dying Light? No. Dead by Daylight. Never played that one. All right, y'all. Reminder, in 24 hours plus 3 hours plus 3 minutes, I will be doing a Doom video game live stream. Doom has zombies in it? Huh? Anyone? Doom zombies? Alright, so tune in. 24 hours plus 3 hours plus 3 minutes, whatever that adds up into. I'm gonna go. I haven't eaten breakfast today. I woke up like at 9:45, so not to be confused with 1945, the year Adolf Hitler killed himself. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. It's very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, what they thought about it.
Get your words straight, Jack.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
No good, really bad for you.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia?
Getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much.
Bad deal, should have never been thought of.